Hello and welcome. We are Bleeding Tree Gaming. My name's Amy, aka Warpfiend, and I'm joined by.
Hi, I'm Tammy. I am the Autumn Witch.
And today we're taking a look at all the hobby that we've done in 2023. As the year's coming towards an end, we thought it was perfect time to look back month by month and see some of our favourite projects that we've worked on. So, yeah, it's been a busy year for both of us, I think.
Yes, it has. We've done a channel.
Yes. This is a year and a half now. We've passed our first year in August. We'll come to that soon.
Yep.
But let's get started. Right then. So, January. And I'm carrying the bag for this one.
I had January off, basically.
Yes. It's just the way it worked out.
Yeah.
I had these lovely scenic commissions from Bad Squiddo, and I got a chance to put a lot of kind of character into them. I did a lot of experimenting with some like moody colours for them. I just thought that they're just cracking pieces, and they're lovely like terrain pieces.
Did you actually
to paint some more.
use any metallic paint, or is that all NMM?
It's all NMM, no
Yeah.
metallics in
Show
there.
off.
It was a
fantastic,
really fun project. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, those are available from Bad Squiddo if you want to pick them up.
I'm loving that blue on like the vault door. I think that would look really cool on an ultramarine.
Yeah, I do love that kind of blue NMM. That's not, actual metal isn't quite that blue. You have to do quite a bit of work to make it that blue, but it just looks really good and really moody, and it's like a style I really enjoy doing on things.
Yeah.
Right then, moving on. February.
Yeah.
You did your retro Blood Angels in February.
I did. I can't believe it was February. It doesn't feel quite that long ago. But yeah, I had to pick up like an extra one off eBay to make up the unit, but everything else on them is pure, my original stuff from when I was.
Yeah, the classic models. They're looking just really bright, really second edition, and it's very, very kind of nostalgic army.
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of the color tones back then, they were kind of inconsistent in the photographs, and I think that's just down to like lighting. But Blood Angels to me were always orange.
Yes,
not red.
Very much so.
So yeah, it was essentially the same technique I did with my Rogue Trader ones like last year, but yeah, I went for like a super saturated scale, 75 red, and then just grabbed some oranges and yeah.
Yep, and you can see the link to the video on screen now. My one was Sir Gregor. This is for Fenris Games.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just such a amazing figure. I love me a classic Chaos Warrior, and what better than a guinea pig Chaos Warrior?
Proper pig.
Yeah, this was a really fun one to do. Yeah, it's quite a big mini, surprisingly big. Lots of detail on it. Really cute. Loved it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Now, March, I've kind of broken the rules here because it was a really good month for me.
It was.
I painted, among other things, I painted the Turkey Man. That's the Bad Squiddo one that was on their Kickstarter. I did Ghost Rider, and I did the first Blood Knight, which I wouldn't finish until November. So it took me that long to finish a unit of 10.
Yeah, but we got a good video out of it.
Yep, 2 good videos, in fact.
Yeah.
And Tammy, you did your beautiful watchtower in March.
Yeah. When we started the channel, I thought that I'd be mostly doing terrain, but I've been mostly doing Space Marine projects. But I do love doing some terrain, and this was just me sort of feeling my way around, trying to add a little bit of narrative to it. It's been it's like an old tower. It's been patched up. Trying to get like the right sort of coloration on the wood so it doesn't look rotten, but is a bit looks like it's been damp and moldy. Yeah, the rope ladder as well. That was fun trying to do that with 2 hands and a load of super glue.
You really did a stunner there. It's just got so much character in it, and just like the amount of detail you've gone into wrapping all the string around all the joints, and that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might do a couple more of those and some palisade wall for when when we get around to playing some Old World.
That would be cool. You could make some much more elaborate constructions, like big gates and that.
A hill fort. I mean, something almost like Rohirrim-like from Middle Earth. Should we ever decide to play that as well?
Absolutely.
I was quite pleased with it.
March was a good month all round. Let's see what's up next. We have April, and I was on holiday.
Yes,
don't know about you. I went on holiday to Snowbombing Festival in Austria. I painted a mini on top of a mountain there, even though it took me another 6 weeks to actually edit the video of it.
I found an accidental Deathwing army in my collection.
Lovely.
I basically grabbed back in 7th. I planned to do like a Fallen Dark Angels army, and I grabbed a couple of boxes of Deathwing, and it kind of, as most of my projects do, end up in a box. And then I thought, I'm going to experiment. I'm going to do a White Scars army. I want to experiment with like speed painting white armor, and I found I had a load of Deathwing, and I thought, well, you know what? It's close to white. Let's give it a try. And then I realized that I've actually, it was only like 2 squads of 5, enough for a ancient, and I had an old metal Terminator librarian kicking about, and so I realized I actually had a Deathwing army, and I really like painting Deathwing, so I went and spent lots of money buying more Deathwing.
Nice.
I've got about 3,000 points. I've got about 2,000 points ready for the tabletop now, and I've got another 1,000 points sort of on the way. So
200,000 units are ready, with 1 million more well on the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, Deathwing for Tammy and holiday for me. Let's see what happened in May. So I got back and jumped straight on Malekith.
Yeah, you got a good couple of videos out of that as well. Those wings and that fur just looks so good.
The Atomic Mass game sculpts are just so beautiful. There's so much cool stuff you can do with them, and I love the chance playing around with them. And you did your Azrael.
Yeah, because I then found that I also had old metal Azrael. And I decided that, because I had like a Deathwing army on the way, I thought, well, you know what? I could get Azrael to lead them on the tabletop. That would be cool. And the new Azrael was announced, so I thought, all right, I'm going to paint up the old one, but I'm going to put it on the same size base as the new one. So he's more of like a diorama type base. And this was really my first attempt at like painting a very vivid banner, which I think came out quite nicely. This was also roundabout where I adopted the Tamiya panel liners as a alternative. I know I talk about them a lot, but it's because they are just so bloody awesome that you can, especially on like a banner where there's all these tiny little details that it's that under like a regular sort of acrylic wash will kind of get lost. The way that the enamels run, the panel liners, it really picks out small details so much better. It's essentially oil wash for dummies. I'm pretty sure that's not the only time I'm going to be mentioning them this year around, because people say that Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade are liquid talent, but they've never tried Tamiya panel liners.
Well, it comes highly recommended. There you go. So what do we have coming up in June?
Leviathan.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, June.
June.
Skipped to the wrong
Okay.
page.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
You did your fantastic not only fools and horses for
Yeah,
licensing reasons.
I picked this up at UK Games Expo this summer and just thought, like, oh, my dad would love that. I'm not particularly great at painting the background, but I think it's cartoony enough that it kind of sells pretty well.
Yeah. It looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fantastic.
And you, at the time, were getting your Tyranids prepared.
I was. I did a video on both my Hive Tyrant and a unit of Tyranid Warriors. See, the problem I had, I wanted it to be about the Hive Tyrant, but it's such a big model, it was almost impossible.
Oh, God.
To work around it with my camera. So I did like the Tyranid Warriors for like more an overview look. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing was getting something to tabletop standard, and I think I managed that quite well with them. But yeah, I mean, coming up soon, you're giving this a glow up in a.
Yep, that's definitely happening at some point soon when I can find a gap in my schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to take like something that's an already established paint job and not have to strip it down or spray over it or anything. And I think it's gonna be quite an interesting video out of that. But yeah,
look forward
I went
to that.
for the Leviathan scheme because it was just the easiest one to do with dry brushing. I found. But yeah, I mean, that Hive Tyrant has been sat around for ages, not doing anything, and I've made a real dent in my pile of shame this year, which I'm really quite proud of, and I've got stuff that looks good on the table from it. So it's a hobby win.
Yep. Sounds good. Right then, we've got to the halfway point of the year. Let's go and see what July held. We just had Leviathan, and you started with you had a couple of videos, but you got this Ballistus Dreadnought done.
Yep, for my Death Watch. I mean, like I said in the video, I couldn't decide what army to go for with the Space Marines, so I chose Death Watch so I could do all of them. Yeah, I love the model. I wasn't really sold on it when we first saw it, but when you've got the model built in front of you, it's completely different to how it looks.
I really love the model straight away, to be honest. I love the classic Boxnor, and I've got not as much issues with the new Dreadnoughts that you do. So yeah.
I mean, I just think they're a bit too flat from the front, and it looks like they'd fall over in a strong breeze. But this one, the way that, I mean, I was tempted to cut down the legs a little bit, but in the end, I thought it looked fine as it was. But yeah, so obviously with doing Death Watch, you can sort of play about with like various insignia and armor styles and stuff, and this just screamed Imperial Fists to me because it's a big chunky armored thing designed to blow the crap out of big chunky armored things. So yeah, I went Imperial Fists with it, and I sort of bit the bullet and did some actual sort of intensive edge highlighting, which I normally can't stand, but I think it came out really quite nicely.
Nice. Yeah, I love the red panels on it. I think they really kind of make the piece.
Yeah.
And this was the month where I finally finished all my Iron Jaws, or at least the first 1,000 points of them.
Yeah, nice and neon and.
Yep. I had so much fun. This was a big project over the first half of the year, and I ended up like finalizing the scheme on top of a mountain, so it felt very right and correct. And we had a great time at Throne of Skulls with my brother. It was the doubles tournament in Sigmar, and yeah, I think we came like 15th out of 30th. wasn't really too much about competing, but we did really well on like judge for our army style and best to play against. So
Yeah.
it was just mostly a fun time.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll be back in January actually for that. Right. In August, I painted Dooku from the Shatterpoint stuff. A reminder that I have to get back to my Shatterpoint commissions soon.
Yeah, I love that OSL on there. The contrast between the red and the blue, it's just
Yep.
stunning.
You can't just paint Christopher Lee without going a little bit extra on it.
Oh,
It's
you've always got to do extra for Christopher Lee.
yes, it's fairly much demanded. And you did a great video on weathering in August.
I did. It wasn't just my Spartan that I weathered. I showed some weathering on a Deathwing Terminator, a Valhallan Sentinel, and I did some weathering on the Ballistus Dreadnought as well, which I think came out well. But this Spartan has been sat looking pristine for so long. But this thing is an ancient piece of technology. It needs to be old.
Oh,
so
yes.
I just dialed it up to 11 and totally grimed it up, and I absolutely love how it looks.
Yeah, it came out really well. You've got just some perfect kind of dust patterns that you can see in the picture here. It looks absolutely great.
Yeah, there's videos of both of these on the channel as well for people to check out, should they?
Yep. Links are all in the description. Right, shall we move on to September?
Yes.
And you did a video on magnets and magnetizing Terminators.
I did. I've not only become a convert to Tamiya panliners and a reasonable amount of edge highlighting this year, I've also become a massive magnet convert. I mean, if you look at like the Deathwing kit, which this is based on, you've got enough weapon options for like 15 Terminators, but only enough Terminators for like 5. So yeah, I ordered some magnets from online, and now I can I mean, I've got like 30 Terminators that are pretty much all magnetized now, and ready to rock. Because,
nice.
Yeah,
it's always good having magnetized things. I found it was I went through a phase of magnetizing everything, but it was a little bit too much admin for me, like keeping track of everything. Like, oh, I've got all my pieces here, but yeah, if you can handle that part of it, then magnetize everything.
I mean,
Why
if you
not?
can just get into a good groove with it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I kind of go into that a bit in the video as well, about how to just do it quickly and easily without having to worry about which way round to stick the thing in and linking them together and then sliding them suddenly apart. And it's quite fun, unless it hasn't glued properly and then a little magnet goes flying across the room and you can't find it because it's actually ended up stuck on like the
that tends to happen a lot. So in September, I painted these single occupancy bomb shelters from World War II, like British ones for Bad Squiddo. And I thought they were just a very simple design, very like clean resin, just a bit of chance to do some kind of just a bit of different painted on weathering style. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
but
that wasn't that.
Models.
Those little dents and rust patches are just spot on.
So yeah, that was another fun one. October. It's all kicking off in October.
Yeah.
I painted the party pig, which I had my own speakers cast as minis for, and they will be available soon, hopefully soon after Christmas. Massive project to just kind of tie up my Iron Jaws army, or at least the first part of it, before I expand it with more of the new kits.
Yeah, and the snow on the base as well looks absolutely.
Yeah,
it's got that like crystallized look, which I mean, what did you use for that?
It
Because like
is.
the I've got like the AK snow, but that's fluffier. Whereas
It
this
is
looks mightier.
actually the AK Snow,
Is it?
but I've just used, rather than the one that's just like snow, like a kind of grout paste, I've used the snow sprinkles and then the snow micro balloons on top of that.
Ah,
Now, the micro balloons just add that very kind of dusty, crystally look to the whole thing.
it looks great.
Yep. Thank you. um, and yeah, you did the apothecary. You were playing around with OSL yourself, and
I was. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just the apothecary I did. I did the librarian as well. But I think of the two, this is the one that came out best. And
it looks pretty nice.
it was just like a mental exercise in, where the light emanates, where exactly it's going to hit. Is it going to skim on corners and stuff?
Yeah, it does make you think of a lot of things. I love painting light myself, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, the fact that the apothecary is wearing like white armor on his lower legs, that kind of helped a bit as well for when I was like, painting the overspill. Um,
Yes.
so I got like I mean, it helped that Tesseract Glow is basically designed for this. Um, but also, yeah, just that putting that final line of Tesseract Glow on top of that white tuft by his left foot, I think that was like my proudest part. It was like the cherry on the cake.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Yep, came out looking lovely. Right, we're closing in on the end now. Let's go for November. I
Yeah.
finally finished those Blood Nights that I started all the way back in March.
And they look great.
It was a long process.
Yeah.
After painting that first one and just leaving them for a while, I then had to spend 6 weeks of just painting these, and it got pretty grueling. But finally, I got through them, and the unit I'm super happy with for the amount of work I had to do. There's a few here and there where like they're not quite as clean, but overall, like it gives a good enough impression. There's enough kind of clean edge highlightings there for it to all
Yeah.
sell.
Yeah.
And I think to do them all to a perfect standard is something you need to take months, and like this is like a golden demon territory kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you did basing video for your speeder.
I did. I did the speeder and the basing video, but it was just a basing video because, I mean, there's only so many times you can paint like something in White Scar's colors over the space of like a couple of months and it be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the basing, I love basing. I mean, clearly, I look at the bases on models as much as I do the models. Yeah, I mean, I think my favorite part on this that I did, it was grabbed an old broken Necron, like the previous kit, not the current one, the ones that still had the green glass tubes in
Yes.
their Gauss things, and it didn't have that, so I like bent the thing and then sprinkled some green and silver glitter where the shards of it would have.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's got this little glisten as you look around the base, which I thought was really quite.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. It doesn't really show on this picture. I should have picked
Yeah.
one that showed it a bit more, but yeah, that was really
Well,
cool.
they can always go and watch the video.
Go and
But
watch the video and you can see more of it.
yeah, but also on the speeder itself, I started experimenting with freehand. I grabbed myself some fine liner handwriting pens. The nib's
Yeah.
about 0.03
Mhm.
millimeters. So I was able to like sketch on just some like unit markings, the a slightly simplified version of the White Scars logo on the wings, and I found that so useful. I've used it on everything White Scars that I've painted since. Uh, except I think
Nice.
for Khosrow Khan. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend it. So this year I've been converted to Tamiya panel liners, edge highlighting, magnets, and fine liner pens for freehand details.
Yeah, it's always nice to have kind of grown in your hobby and shown progress over the year.
Yep.
Right then, shall we move on to this month that we're recording this in?
Yep.
It's December.
It is.
And I kind of cheated because I've shown 3 models here. Only the one on the right was painted this month, but
yeah,
the other 2 were painted throughout the year, and I kind of wanted to share the 3 of them that I'd gotten done.
Yeah.
And I just love these accursed cultists. Like, it's my little zen activity that when I'm really stressed out and can't paint anything else, I'll just paint one of these over like a day or 2 and just play around with some colors and some like kind of crazy details in that.
Yeah, they look great. And they work together as a set as well.
Yeah, which is surprising considering I just sit down with a completely different palette like months apart and paint something.
Yeah.
And you've done Khosrow Khan.
I have, and I think he was my Christmas present from you last year, or my birthday present.
I think so. Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, so it only took me a year to get around to him, which
that's pretty good.
Must be some kind of a personal record. But yeah, I just went in with everything I've basically converted to in the last year.
Yeah.
Got the panel liners on there. I love the way that it just adds this like layer of oiliness to the armor, and then just going over it with Corax White, which Corax White gets a bad rap, but for this, just stippling on with Corax White over the grime sort of feathers it out a bit, and yeah.
Personally, I think it gets a bad rap for people who don't use a wet palette, because I don't have problems with it on a wet palette, but yeah. But yeah, that's a great centerpiece. Love to see some big shots of the whole White Scars army together soon. Maybe that's something that's coming up in the new year.
It may be, because I have 1,000 points worth all painted now and ready to go on the table. So we can have a game.
Watch this space.
Yes. Or like and subscribe and hit the bell icon, which is the same thing in YouTube speak.
And why not join us on a Facebook group? All the links to the videos and the projects we mentioned are down in the description. Thanks very much for watching through 2023, and we hope you have a happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2024.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Crimbles and all that.
We'll actually have videos before 2024, so don't take that as gospel. Yeah,
keep an eye out on Christmas Day. I'm hoping to have something for you by then.
Oh, exciting. Right then, take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.